Not having a car, um, is difficult, man. It's very difficult. Especially as an adult. Because when you're a teenager, let's be for real. Like, when you're a teenager, you're 16, 17, 18, you don't really need a car. Like, be honest, you don't really need a car. You just want a car in order to hang out with friends, go to parties, go to events, have a little bit of freedom, sneak out of the house. Like, you don't need a car, right? That's why, oftentimes when you're younger, you borrow parents' cars. And there's no shame in that. There's no shame in that. Because the reality is, I would say if you're under 20, I mean, it depends, but if you're anywhere from like, I mean, I don't know. I think everybody kind of goes at their own pace, but it's usually the people who can afford a car on their own that usually had, a pretty good support system, like they had, family support in landing their jobs, because they have a good job, so they have a high paying job. But for the most part, I would say, the vast majority of people, like, you probably won't be able to afford a car on your own. Unless you worked all throughout high school and you did nothing but that. But then again, think about it. If you worked all throughout high school, then you had good family support. Like, you didn't pay rent, you didn't pay anything. So, but yeah, I would say if you hustled straight, you probably won't be able to afford a car until you're like anywhere from like 19, 20, 21 years old, right? And then, if you didn't hustle, and you took a couple breaks, you had a little bit of fun. I would say realistically, like, most people without parental support won't be able to afford a car until, 23, 24. That's usually when you're making, like, decent money, or at least you had enough time to, like, save a bit. And by that age, I would say once you reach, like, 21, 22, it does kind of become a necessity to have a car. Like, if you want, like, your job opportunities expand greatly when you have access to reliable transportation. And I say reliable transportation because there's all forms of reliable transportation. Like, you could Uber to work, that's pretty reliable, but then do you have reliable income? You know what I mean? Like, do you have a reliable income source? Well, okay, if you do, then fine, but I wouldn't really call that reliable. You know what I mean? Like, it's definitely better than walking to work, but I mean, because one is impossible, right? Like, if you work, well, okay, I guess I don't do this, thankfully. I don't have to do this, but I guess if your work is like 20, 30 kilometers away and you're really down bad, like, technically you could probably bike there. How long of a bike ride that would be? That would probably be like an hour and a half. Like, that's brutal, man. Unfortunately, some people, like, have to do that, but yeah, like, realistically, no. You're gonna either take an Uber, you're either gonna drive if you have access to a vehicle, or you're gonna take public transportation. And thankfully, I live where in a larger city, so I have access to reliable public transportation. But for you guys in America, like, in small towns, but, like, even in general, just living in a small town, like, small tight-knit community, if you don't have a car, like, you're genuinely cooked. You're genuinely cooked because there's no public transportation. There might not even be, like, Uber services in your area, so it's really biking, walking, or like, begging. Like, you're gonna have to beg someone for a ride. And I think that's the thing about having a car. Like, it gives you access to so much freedom. It gives you access to so much freedom when you actually own a car that's yours. Obviously, you have a lot of responsibilities on top of that. You have insurance, which is a massive thing. At least where I live, payments are easily $400 a month, which is why, owning a car is just so unaffordable. So you have a lot more financial and, like, other responsibilities you have to dictate towards it, like, you have to put towards it. But I would say overall, like, the freedom that it gives you is worth it. And yeah, sometimes it sucks, like, not having access to your own personal vehicle, and I don't know. I think I'll probably get a car within. I mean, hopefully, I'll get a car within the next year or two. If I don't, it's not the end of the world. But it is. Well, I don't know. If I don't get a car within the next year or two, it's okay. But no, that would suck. Why am I saying it's okay? No, that would suck. Um, no, someone's getting robbed. Like, I don't care if someone's getting robbed. Um, yeah, because no, at that point, like, that's what I'm saying. Like when you're older, and that's what I'm saying too. Like, after the ages of 23, 24, like, be honest with yourself. Any worthwhile opportunity that you're going to find, like, whether that be moving up in your career, whether that be what's it called, like, finding a new job, you're gonna need access to a vehicle, right? And it's just like, wow, like, that's another way that they keep you down. Like, that's another way that the system keeps you in perpetual poverty. Not owning a vehicle, not owning some form of reliable transportation. And that's scary. That's really scary. Especially now. I mean, everywhere, cars are more expensive. Even like a used Honda Civic. I mean, you're lucky if you find it for like 2-3 grand. You know, that's cheap. Like, let's be honest, like, that's fairly cheap for a car. I mean, cars, brand new cars, you're lucky to find one for 40-50 grand, right? That's not even 10% of that price, right, for 2-3 grand. So it's cheap, but it's also, if you're young and you're broke, well, it's not very cheap. Um, and yeah, not owning a car, like, is genuinely difficult. And, you know, your two choices are either bust your ass off and save and get a car on your own, right? Which is the only option. Or if you're lucky enough, a parent will help you out. Maybe you can buy one off of an old friend. Like, they'll help you out, but at the end of the day, like, I mean, sometimes people just get gifted cars from their parents, so I mean, there's that too. But, like, no, yeah, sometimes people just get gifted cars, and that's one thing I realized. Like, most people who are young have a car because either one, their parents gave it to them. Um, oh my god, there was this one girl, and she had like a brand new 2026 vehicle. I'm like, and this girl was like 18, right? I'm like, I wonder where this 18-year-old got this vehicle from. And turns out dad worked for a dealership, so, obviously that makes a lot of sense. And yeah, it just goes to show you that the more connected and the more financially well off your parents are, which is obvious, the better they set up their children to succeed, right? This is obvious, right? Like, if you have more money, you have better access to healthcare, education. I mean, in America, you have better access to healthcare, education opportunities. You can put your kids in private school, so they have the best education. Private tutors, yeah, that would be helpful. Growing up and struggling, like, how many kids like need extra practice time? But no, if you go to the public system, you're a brokey. And there's nothing wrong with the public system. I mean, the fact that school, like high school itself, is free is amazing in my opinion. There's some countries where women can't go to school or whatever. Like, they don't have established systems in place. But I'm just saying, like, obviously, the more well off your parents are, the more affluent they are, the better they set you up for success. And it's every aspect of your life. But I think specifically owning a car, I think, is the biggest one. I mean, I think it's the biggest one because it's like that level of where you're like low class to middle class. So if you're like middle class, then oftentimes your parents will like gift you a car or like help you with a car or like let you borrow their car. And then if you're like poverty class, then you're just cooked. Like, you're just cooked, figure it out yourself. Good luck. You know what I mean? And it's that like in between, whereas like, middle class to like upper class. Like, I'm talking like parents who make like anywhere from 60,000 to like 100 and something thousand. And like they actually care about their children. like it's almost a guaranteed you're gonna get a car. So it's nothing to worry about. But yeah, I just think not owning a car really sucks. I wish I owned a car. I don't. It's too expensive. Like it's just too expensive. Like I said, $400 a month car payments too expensive, and yeah, just the hidden fees that come with owning a car, repairs. Like you have to understand, if you're gonna buy a car and you're gonna do it by yourself, if you buy a $5,000 car, you need $10,000 to buy that car, actually, because even if you pay for it in cash, $5,000, that $5,000 are going to need, the additional 5,000 is going to go towards tires, hidden, what's it called, like repairs, taking it to the mechanic, getting it serviced, gas money savings. Like you just want to budget enough to where you feel comfortable owning a car, because what are you doing buying a $20,000 car and you only have $25,000 in savings? Like, I mean, you could get away with it depending on where you work, what you do, but I mean, I just think that's ridiculous. Like you probably want to budget double what you have, or what the car cost, just to be smart. I mean, like, but yeah, cars are expensive, man, and it just gives you access to so much freedom. The fact that you could just like take it out on a joyride, literally go driving like halfway across like the state or the province, and just go out, just have fun. You know what I mean? It's nice. It's nice. And I have my driver's license, but I don't have a car. Because they're just too expensive. And yeah, it's just sad. It's just sad that again, like that's another way that this system keeps you from not attaining certain opportunities, not succeeding, not allowing yourself to kind of veer off and like put yourself out there and like be more proactive. And I just think that's messed up. I think that's messed up, but it all comes down to money at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Work hard and look after yourself. I mean, no one is here to save you at the end of the day. So, but yeah, that's just my thoughts. Appreciate you guys for listening, and see you next time.